I can just get the audio only.
Yeah, I also need to turn on... Okay, turned on my own mic so it'll capture my voice and not just your guys's. Okay, this is, and then let me do a screen share. Let me share my Photoshop screen with all you wonderful people. Can you see it?
Yes.
Excellent. So, this is our our middle of the week, or actually it's only been 3 days, crit, or tip stream from our first crit. First crit, we had Owen and Jeff. They gave some really, really awesome advice to basically everyone about how to move forward with your characters. And we're going to talk about kind of how to interpret that stuff. So, why don't I go back to what I've already done? So, I had variations on, not those. I had variations on this character, Innerith, who I think plenty of you, or some of you are doing. Innerith seems to be one of the characters people are sticking with right now. Owen and Jeff had some really good suggestions. So, Jeff brought up the specifics of the shoulders, how you need bigger shoulders and a thicker neck to hold up a head with big horns. Owen specifically pointed out this pattern of the armor and how he liked that, but he said bring in some of the straps from C. Owen liked this axe on B, and this sword on D. And in general, he thought that my characters needed to be more acting a little bit more and not just standing, which I totally agree with. So, I took all those crits and I put a bunch of the aspects of my... here, let me pull up... Not that. This. Put a bunch of the aspects of my stuff together into this. So I pulled out all the different reference that I used and I kind of like recombined it under my filter method into this pose, which has got all the stuff they liked and also some of the stuff that I liked. Because you want to trust their stuff, you want to trust their opinion, but you also always want to make sure that you're keeping with your own instincts. So like, that's going to be some of the hardest crits to take, is when they go completely opposite what your instinct is. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But then I recombined these details into these flats. Well, first I did line art. So this is basically you take all the crits, you combine them together, and then you draw your lines over top of them. I generally like to stick pretty close to my my comp, but some people stray really far away from their comp. For some people it doesn't matter. So, I did line art based on the final design that I pulled from their crit, and then I did flats, which I like to do with a bunch of masks. So each of these masks, they mask off a specific shape, and then I just fill the whole layer. And that makes it really easy to elaborate and vary on top of my flats after I've done them. And this is all really simple Photoshop stuff. It's basically just fills and masks. Masks are nice because they're non-destructive workflow. We can have a whole conversation about that, but that is not what today's crit is. So this is basically what I'm going to be turning into Stacy for our second crit. final line work, flat colors, and then I'll show you variations on color a bit later. Um, I'm not rendering any of it. There's no shadow in this at all. It's literally just the base colors that I want the character to have. And then if we come over here, we can see my color variations, which is, this is why I was using that non-destructive workflows, because it's really easy to then go into these oop, that got moved. It's really easy to go into your folders and your files and just change the colors around. It makes it super easy to start to kind of experiment. And then I already kind of set up this final page, although, can anyone see what the problem is? Pop quiz, what's the problem? I forgot her fucking tail again.
Well, you're not required to have a tail and a tiefling.
You're not
Also,
required to have a
numbered.
tail and a tiefling, but I like the design element, and I just completely forgot to include one of the tails, because Jeff said that he wanted the tails to, like, do something, and I couldn't figure out how to integrate the tail into the pose. So, I'm gonna design the tail later. But, I already basically designed this page, and this is essentially one of the pages I'll be turning into Stacy. It's just, these are my final lines, these are my color variations, what do you think? And Stacy will point out she'll probably point out problems with the drawing, because the drawing has some problems. She'll suggest I do something different with the pose, or a slightly different, like, acting, or, you know, more methods to vary it up, but she'll also show me, or indicate to me, what are the, where I could take the colors, or what her favorite color variation is, or stuff like that. Just like Jeff and Owen did with our poses and silhouettes and stuff. So then, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So after this crit, you'll take all of those details. You'll kind of recombine them, figure out exactly what you want your final to look like, and then you will start rendering. And having flats makes it easy to just go in and just render. Questions so far? My Photoshop is being kind of laggy. I think it's OBS. There we go, that's better.
Yeah.
Alright, questions so far?
Do we need to have something rendered by the second crit, or could it just be flat colors like you're showing us?
No, that is basically what the second crit is for, is to show them your designs, maybe show them flat colors, show them different line work, basically show them finalized work that has not been polished yet. And that's really all that rendering is polish.
Okay.
So, I would say I can't think of a circumstance under which you would want to render for the second crit. Rendering is basically only between second and third crit.
Okay.
But you do want to get your design itself as finished as possible. This is about as done as I think is possible for this character. Although Stacy will definitely think differently, because Stacy has higher standards, higher expectations than I do.
Stacy she will give you good crit.
Stacy is going to give you the best crit of your life. Just the best. So yeah, I was talking about rendering. Don't misunderstand. Rendering is only for the final crit.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to spend all your time rendering only for something big to change.
Yeah. So I'm gonna show off really briefly how I get some of these color variations, and then I think that Lilly should demo.
Like I wouldn't be good with this character because I'm struggling, but I'm working I'm working on an unrelated character.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Because like I have more fun working on animals. That's not just me being a furry. I swear.
It
No,
sounds
it's mostly me being a furry.
kind of just sounds like you're a furry.
Yeah, probably.
Eh.
But I'm working on a cat for Jim's campaign,
Ah,
and I'm having fun with that one.
I
But
love cats. Cats are the best.
cats are good.
Cats are great. Okay. Oh yeah, one more thing. So also, I want to point out that the the description on Innerith is character that rolls Zentrum can be lawful, evil, blah 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 blah. This character will have a dark, dangerous color palette accented in rust or bronze.
Oof.
That is,
Oh,
and
oh.
I grabbed that, and then I grabbed like some inspiration, some tiefling inspiration, some barbarian inspiration, and I just went to town. I was like rust or bronze, dark and dangerous, tiefling barbarian. So now I am going to finish up my last color variation for my second character, Riom. So let's go back here. This Riom's line art was a lot more straightforward. Owen and Jeff pointed out that they really liked the halo on D, and they also just like the pose on D because she's actually doing something, right? She's a paladin, she's praying, blah blah blah. Very self-explanatory. So it was really just a matter of me going in and figuring out exactly what the armor is supposed to look like, which is great because I worked on it from reference. And then the rest of their crits were all a matter of like, oh, be careful you don't pull too much from your reference. So I made sure to definitely spice things up with my own details. Stuff like changing up how the... I don't actually know what this piece of the armor is called, but changing up how that's attached, or changing up the slats on the torso. As far as the rest of it, like, the pose was still definitely something that I came up with because I combined 3 different poses from 3 different photos. So that's nothing to be worried about. Now I just needed to like finish the design on the armor and then finish the color variations. The description for the Lord's Alliance, which was Riom's faction, is like fierce, fiery color palette accented in gold. So I'm getting that a little bit. We've got some Kingsguard vibes from Game of Thrones. Now I just need to figure out what the rest of her colors are going to look like. I like this khaki brown that I've got going. I already made some of the color decisions for skin and hair. They're different from the others. This last one is a little bit less human, a little bit more Aasimar. Like, it's always good to... Oh, wait, that's not the right one. Right? Yeah. It's always good to take inspiration from what the wikis and what the descriptions of the races canonically are saying, but also good to, like, put your own spin on it. Figure out, like, you'd never have to adhere strictly to a T to what they say your characters should look like. And I am thinking, what if I do a reddish-orange armor color? Is that too much? It might be too much. And
that's also a benefit.
Huh?
That's also a benefit of using masks or clipping masks to color. You can just change things really easily without having to select everything every time.
Yeah. All you need to do is use gradient or paint bucket and just drop the new color in. It's like there are many different ways to paint with. I'm sorry. I'm gonna take a drink for a moment.
How dare you?
There are a lot of different ways to paint with Photoshop. For a long time, I was on that, like, I paint everything on one layer. method, when I talked to Davey and VizDev2 about different methods of painting, and I mentioned painting with everything on one layer, he actually made a face. Like, he got physically upset.
Yeah.
It was funny and scary. Yeah, Davey taught a lot about, like, using photo work, using masks, and using non-destructive workflow. And it totally changed the way I painted. But a bunch of people from that class learned all that stuff Davey was teaching and still opted for the one layer method. Or like 3 layers or 5 layers or however many layers you want, but it's basically just paint, erase, color pick, paint over, color pick, paint over. Kind of like how you would do if you were actually just, kind of like how you would do if you're actually making a painting, like in oils or acrylics. And I definitely think that's a good method. I just think that there are places for it, and I personally prefer this. What if I gave... Sorry?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Could you maybe show us how to do it the way you're doing it? Like how you make the mask for each section?
Yeah, sure. Here, let's come back here. So if I was going to start completely over on coloring Innerith, what I would do is first I'd make a folder, and the folder is going to be masked with my clipping mask for Innerith in general. So this is everywhere she is on the page, nowhere she's not. So new folder down here. I hit this button while I've got that selected to grab the mask. I grabbed that mask by just control clicking on the mask on top of the layer. It's just control click and it just highlights. Basically, it selects everywhere where there's white on a mask and nowhere where there's black. And it will also select gradients. So if I were to have a big old gradient, from black to white in my mask, and then I control click selected it, it would actually change the opacity based on how much black there was in that white, like based on the tone of the gray. It's really useful. It's really helpful for oh, Photoshop's lagging. Yeah, there we go. It's really useful. It's super helpful for when you start working with 3D to prep your paintings, because then you can do stuff like output a mist pass from your 3D scene, and then bring it into Photoshop and use curves and hue saturation masked to the output of the mist pass, and it'll give you automatic mist in your scene, or automatic atmospheric perspective, I should say. Super helpful. I use it constantly. But it's all based on masks, and it's basically all based on control click on these masks that I've got in there. So then I make a new layer, and then I deselect, and basically all I'm going to do is start selecting stuff and masking it out. So I'm going to be like, okay, I want her bracers on their own layer, so I can... And it doesn't have to be perfect. You can be a little rough with it because you've got... First of all, because it's your line work and you can always change it later. But also because your lines have weight to them. Your lines have thickness, and that thickness is basically your leeway. If you draw with really thick lines, you've actually got a lot of leeway when it comes to coloring. You don't have to be super, super exact. Follow the lines exactly. But yeah, so then I grab those, mask it out, and then I hit G to go to paint bucket or gradient, and I just do a fill. And it's gonna just fill the entire thing. So if I disable this mask, it's actually going to just fill the whole page. But because I've got that mask and then it's within a mask, then I can, it'll only color between those. And then no matter where I change it to, it's only gonna change that. And then it's just a matter of highlighting the rest of it. It's basically busy work. Like, put on a fucking YouTube video or something. But yeah, you just grab everything. You can go underneath your previous layers. You can hit Alt to, ow, come on. You can hit Alt to subtract, Shift to add when you're using Lasso. Lasso is by far the most useful for this. And then I'm like, that's her arm. And so I make a new layer, I put it underneath that one so that the bracer is still there, and then there's her arm. And I can change the value as much as I want. And that's it. Like, it's basically just a matter of putting in all the work of highlighting everything and adjusting your layers and choosing which details on your character are going to be which colors. And then you wind up with something like this, which is basically just a series of shapes for the details on your character. And after that, you can spend a half an hour and output like 10 color variations. But you shouldn't output 10 color variations. You should only do a couple. Really try and design your colors. Pull colors from other art that you like, or pull colors from just photos. Randomize your color output and just sample that. It's really very... Oh, Nick is going to join us soon. Very nice. It's really, it's a good method. Questions about that? Okay, well, I'm going to keep on going then. So, basically, all I need to do now is I need to figure out, like, how I'm going to make the final one distinct from the others. Fierce and fiery, accented in gold is actually a pretty strict prompt. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to how I'm gonna make that my own. I'm sorry, I'm actually to blame for that. I wrote that prompt, but it's...
Who did this?
I did this. I'm sorry. But I like the cream-colored cloak. That's pretty great. But that means I need to balance it out with some darker stuff. Like, maybe I make the armor dark in this one. You never want to, like, you want a good series of levels. You never want to make everything basically the same tone of value. You all know this already. You learned this in Inga's class. I don't need to go over color theory with people. How about... Yeah, but what if I did... Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Here's a question for everyone. What version of the color picker do you like the most? I used to be really into the square. I only recently started using the sliders.
I used to use the color sliders in Paint Tool Psi because it let you like move it really slowly if you held shift.
Oh. Man, Psi's got all these great tools that Photoshop is just not putting in their fucking program.
Use Clip Studio.
I will never leave Photoshop. Like, it's industry standard. It's got too many tools that I use too often. Like, it's...
Screw that! Industry... Yeah.
It's very...
Maya's industry standard. I'll touch it. I'm scared of it.
Maya's another matter, because while Photoshop can be bad sometimes, Maya is bad constantly. Also, I still use Maya for poly modeling.
Yucky.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's pretty gross. I'm sorry. I've got to apologize to everyone for that.
Yeah, I feel like clips, like, other than missing Avery, kick him. But, like, I feel like Clip Studio is a pretty good compromise between Photoshop and Paint Tool Sai. Like, and because it keeps coming out updates, that's why I'm, like, happy to give them my money.
Yeah.
Because they finally added color jitter. Color jitter.
Oh, color jitter as a preset for your brushes?
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
pretty good.
It's so nice now. Like, everyone lost their mind.
Yeah.
And they just added time-lapse features.
I just found... So, I downloaded a new brush pack from one of my favorite artists, and I was going through it, deleting the ones that I don't want. And I found some really cool ones, but I haven't deleted all of them, so it's going to take me a while to find them. But I found
Good luck.
a brush that uses color jitter in such a cool way. Let me find it.
I am intrigued.
It's like an effect brush that you would use for effects. Oh yeah, yeah, right here. Here. Oh, I'm I'm painting outside my masks.
Ooh.
It's like, I think it works better when it's smaller. Oh shush. There we go. But yeah, it's like, oh, you want to do like an effect, like a particle effect. It's doing this. And then it uses color jitter by like gradienting between your two swatches, and I'm like, that is nice, and it's constant too. So based on your brush size, it will always make the same length of thing.
I see. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's really good.
People make some crazy brushes. I love people making weird awesome brushes. So now I'm just gonna finish up figuring out what glass colors to make her, and then I'm gonna let someone else take over because I've been demoing a lot, and I think it's time for someone else to do it. Come on,
Honestly,
Photoshop.
but I have good advice. For me, character design is just guessing. Like, I've done Party Banner for 4 years now. I'm just doing my best.
Yeah, it's my 4th year too. Although, first and second years, I never got to the final round.
Yeah, me neither.
First year, I got the flu. Second year, I don't remember what happened.
Yeah, for me, I just lost theme. Like, I still stuck around after, because, like, I love seeing everyone's stuff. But yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, dropping out is totally chill. Because, again, this isn't a grade.
Yeah, you are not being graded.
Yeah, and either way, I learned a lot.
Actually, you are being graded. If you are really not feeling great about the challenge and you're in a bad place, but you still stick with it, you get an F.
What?
What?
What? Sir? Explain?
If you stick with it, even though you don't feel good about it, and if you're not having fun, then you get an F.
If you choose to suffer.
Yeah, if you decide that suffering is good, you fail.
We'll fight you.
We'll
The
fight
F
you.
is for Frick. Get some rest, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you deprive yourself of sleep because of party banter, we will fight you.
Yep. Not a choice.
Not a choice.
Yeah. Take care of yourselves before, like,
Yeah.
because, like, it's fun, but also, if
It's
you're
fun.
stressing out, yeah,
Yeah.
we don't want you to worry. And you can always just stick around.
Yeah. Definitely stick around because remember the crits are like I fucking love that when Owen mentioned in the crit that he used to think that sticking around and looking at everyone's crits are bullshit, but now he totally agrees.
Yeah. Like, you learn.
Yeah. He's like, I was wrong. Don't be me.
Yeah, I think I gained the most out of watching the crits, like seeing everyone else.
Oh yeah.
It's like, I'm not confident with my character design, and I know where most of my faults are, but I see other people, and it's like, oh, I think this is great. And also, professors give them ways to improve on it still. So I'm like, oh, that could be even better.
Yeah,
So I
you're
can apply
like,
it to my
damn,
own
I
stuff.
thought that was amazing, but then the professor was like, oh, you need to change all of these 7 things.
And it's just neat.
Still a little bright. That's a little dark. Okay. There are my second color variations for Realm. And actually, I should put these up. I should put these up above the sword. That's what I should do. There we go. Questions, last minute questions before we move on.
Would they like to see, like, other kinds of sketches? Or just, like, the cleaned up one that we do for the color variations?
I think the other sketches are definitely valuable. Oh, yeah, go. Lily, go ahead.
If you want to see my noodling around, I will repeat, I am not a character design person. But I am... Like, I just have a canvas open and I'm drawing.
I think that definitely try sketching out your character in different poses, doing different things, but now is the time that you want to kind of be finalizing your design. So don't give the character completely different outfit in each of your sketches, but definitely other sketches are definitely helpful.
Hey, Jack.
Yes.
I'm going to disagree with you on that one.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
I think
Yeah.
if you're gonna do iterations of your characters, make them as different as possible. Because otherwise, it's like, okay, here's my character, but with a red backpack, and then here's my character with a blue backpack, and then here's my character with a green backpack. It's like, okay, we're looking at the same character, but if you're like, okay, here's my character with a backpack, but then here's my character flying in the air, but this time they have an axe. That's a completely different sketch and something that they can really like dig into when it comes to a crit.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they do think that you can do like little bitty changes, then they'll be like, okay, I like the color of this one, but I like the pose of this one. And that way you have a lot of different options.
Yeah.
And still going with what the still going with the crit that we got the first time. So still following what the professors advise us to go with.
Yeah.
I think that Avery's definitely right where like you definitely want to sketch. If you're gonna give sketches, you definitely want to make them really different. But with like the posing and with the props and with different methods of making them different, I think they should not be as different from each other as your first round of iterations were.
Okay.
What do you think? What do you think of that?
Definitely leaning more towards a goal that you can see.
Yeah. Like they can tell if they saw your first ones and then they see your second ones, they can tell that you're narrowing the field, that you're like narrowing in on a specific design you want to make.
Mm.
Okay.
I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I've done a couple of sketches. There's just like certain aspects that I'm like indecisive on. So that's why I'm thinking of like
Do you want us to look?
Oh, you can keep going with the demos. It's okay.
My demo's over.
Don't feel pressured. Like
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, you don't need to if you don't. You don't need to if you don't want us to.
Okay.
I'm still noodling around with grabbing references because I don't quite know where I'm going yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can share my screen if you guys want to see me not have any idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, go for it.
Avery is allowed to yell at me. I trust that he.
Ah.
Never mind. Don't want it.
I'd say that like, so you have a couple of things that you're not sure about. Basically, if the professors didn't say anything specific about it, then go with your gut.
Yeah.
Like, re-listen to their whole crit on you, and also try and figure out if they said anything that would help you about someone else's. And then if they really didn't do it for you, like if they just didn't address this point that you're worried about, go with your gut.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't clean out my notes. Don't look at those. Oh. But yeah. So what I had written down from the crit is 7 is neat, 4 is too generic. So one of the main things I remember that kept bringing up was they were liking how my shepherd's cook was looking, because this is basically a wizard that was raised as a shepherd, and I really want to keep that because A, I like sheep, and second, I do like the idea of just like a country boy that just happens to also know magic. So I started drawing some stuff, and I know for sure I want him beefy. I want this boy to just carry his sheep around. Just absolutely would have been better as a fighter or a barbarian or anything else. But just magic just because. And that's a problem with me with character design, is I feel like I don't think enough into it. So I could look more into his story and why he chooses these things. But I also struggle with if I should just get on with the drawing already. So, like, I'm speaking to you guys as a person, not as a host that's been here for a few years. I don't know what I'm doing. So, you guys are welcome to talk. I just have my references open. Oh, I can also show you my references.
Yeah, references.
Oh, would they like us to show our references again?
So it'll be Stacy this time, and I'm sure that she would love to see your references.
Stacy likes seeing reference.
Stacy likes seeing reference.
Same with the character description things. Would they like to see that again?
I'm putting it up for my own benefit. I think I would say you don't need it at this point. It's nice to be able to remind your professors what you're going for, but I'd say it's not required.
Yeah.
Don't listen to me. Sorry, I need to be more sure of myself.
No, it's okay, because, like, I'm not sure either. I think that this time, like as you're kind of narrowing down on what you want a little more. Damn, these are some good references.
I need to change colors for sure, but like in terms of just
I love
the way
these
things are
colors
layered.
though. I love the white and red.
They're really good, but also strong, grunted, serious color palette accented in steel gray.
I feel like you can still interpret that as being white and red. White and red is serious. You can add some earth tones to make it grounded. But
I'm looking.
I think that as you narrow it down a little more, a lot of the stuff that's in your prompt should start to become kind of obvious. Like, we wanted the prompt there, or we recommended the prompt be there, so that you could, so that the professors knew what they were looking at when they're just kind of looking at a bunch of silhouettes. But now that you're getting more detail, I think that having the prompt there isn't as necessary, because it's almost like how much the crit person, how much the professor, how much Stacy can tell what is going on in your design without the need for the prompt is like you can kind of use that as a measure of how successful your design is.
So, Jack,
Yeah.
oh my god, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to like be like I'm party banter now.
No, go for it. Look, you still have a lot more experience with this than I do, so go for it.
I would say that you should put your prompt in there because Stacy's not going to know what your character's supposed to be, and so it's hard to tell how good you're getting, how close you're getting to that intended design without knowing what the intent is.
Oh yeah.
So you could design an awesome wizard, but Stacy doesn't know that wizard was supposed to be a fighter this whole time.
And if Stacy says that's a great wizard, you're like, thanks, Stacy.
Not the fighter part.
That is a great point, though. Yeah, so it's definitely like, I don't know. I don't know whether you should include the prompt in there or not. It's not required, but
Maybe just a brief list, if anything.
I'm going to say I personally am not going to be putting it on any of my main pages. I might put it with my reference, or I might put it with like some sketches that I might add. But again, like there are obviously there are a bunch of different ways to approach this. I should go back to Pinterest. I didn't make as extensive Pinterest boards for this time around than I did for last time around.
Pinterest is a really good resource, but one thing I always think of is, as an artist, I hate Pinterest, but as an artist, I love Pinterest.
Oh yeah.
I think about that constantly because I've gotten so
Pinterest so much.
You're browsing Pinterest and you're like, damn, this stuff is great, but then you find some art and you're like, who did this? And Pinterest is like, fucking beats me.
Yeah, I used to have my art reposted on Pinterest a lot, and I had to file so many DMCA takedowns.
Really?
Yeah, I used to post videos on YouTube, and my work got reposted a lot. And I was also like 15 and really moody, so I was really angsty about it, but it sucked. Good times.
This symmetry stuff is so satisfying to watch.
Like, I know I shouldn't rely on it, but for getting down outfits, it goes really fast for me.
Yeah.
And I'm having fun.
It's just one of those tools that it's helpful to use, especially if you need to work fast, but also you just need to make sure it's not a crutch.
Yeah. And it's a crutch right now.
I have so much trouble with that. I'm like, I'm gonna get really into 3D for VizDev, and then it ends up a crutch. Or like, I'm gonna get really into Photo Bash, and then it ends up a crutch. And I'm like, shit, I need to also be working on my fundamentals. I can't forget that.
Yeah, and I know the solution is to just do things more, but then you gotta do them.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm the complete opposite.
You're
I'm
the
like,
dork.
I'm like, oh, there's an easier way to do this. I have to paint everything by hand with a hard round brush, and that's it.
That's it.
Why is this taking me 10 hours?
Why is it so slow? And then you're like, oh, it's because I'm doing the slow way. Oh.
Yeah. Who did this?
It's because I could have made it easier for myself.
And then, meanwhile, on the opposite side, you're like, you work in all these complex ways, and then you go out sketching, and you're like, everything's so hard. Why is this happening to me? and then in the back of your mind, your computer's like, it's because I made it easy for you.
Maybe that's why I have a hard time with allowing myself to take shortcuts, because whenever I sketch, it's always with just a a plain black ballpoint pen and that's it.
Oh yeah.
That's all you get.
I love pen sketching. What a cute lad.
He's just a little boy. He's
What
a
a-
very big boy. I know one of the things I wanted for sure was just curly hair, like the sheep, because I thought that would be really cute.
Ah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. And one thing, so I, as a person, I'm very used to making characters just very round. Because if you ever look at me in real life, I am just a marshmallow. Like, because, okay, you know how professors tell you, oh, the best reference is to just get a mirror and use yourself as reference, right?
Uh-huh.
I got baby hands, and I have such round features that it translates to all of my character art, and I don't know how to feel about it. It just happens.
The funniest shit is when you're looking at art from someone who you know what they look like, and you can tell that they use their own face as expression reference.
Jin, he draws really pointy, like just angular old dudes, and it's like, yeah, that makes sense.
I'm like if someone like looking at someone's character design and the character's face is like making a face that I've seen them make in real life.
Yeah.
And I'm
Like, I see it.
oh, I know where that came from.
I see you.
I see you. I love the lamb in the bag. I think that's your best detail. I think
Right.
that
Yes.
I think that you should just give him a lamb in a bag.
I think I was just gonna straight up steal it, because, like,
Yeah.
look at that.
Just
It's
take
re-
it.
Like, I need to figure out the scale of him and all these critters, because they're probably pretty small.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Worthwhile thing to note is if you're gonna give your character an animal, that is almost like it's not quite the same, but it's essentially kind of you giving yourself another character to design.
what if I just make it my persona?
Do it.
I just steal her directly.
Do it. No one will know any better.
Except for, like, all the professors who know me.
I'll
'cause,
know.
Like, yeah. Like, that's too much for me.
Me already is designing 3 characters and then adds in a donkey.
Yeah, you just gave yourself a 4th character.
You did this.
Oh no. One of the only reasons I was comfortable enough giving myself level 20, like, you gotta design 3 characters, is I was like, I am going to go back to my roots. I am going to design realistic, Magic the Gathering ass looking fantasy people. The thing that is easiest for me when it comes to character design.
God, I like to make things hard for myself. I'm doing the exact opposite. I'm like, what's something that I never draw? I never draw cartoony.
Absolutely.
Let me do it 3 times.
You chose this life.
Yeah.
I'm getting that mileage in. If I do it 3 times all at once, then I've ran 3 marathons.
Hell yes.
Or you'll die.
Or I die. Either way, I like the outcome.
That was
Well,
that was like one of my goals for level 20 is I was like, I want it
To
to
die?
be just a mileage bomb. I want it to be a
This is
character
like
design
juice.
mileage bomb.
also, I draw my characters like shorts, because I have short legs. They're a fun thing.
I'm trying to think if I'm trying to think if there's any like details from myself that I put on my characters.
It's like things that once you notice it, you just cannot forget. Like, Jin's the one that pointed out the roundness.
Uh,
I've been living like this for 3 years. I was blissfully unaware until then.
let's think. Okay, so like I'm skinny, but I deliberately do not design skinny characters. I like beefy characters.
Mm.
I
Become
like
strong.
I like the beef.
For me, my go-to with characters is small and annoying. Like,
Oh, just like you.
yeah, like honestly, like I looked at my characters like small, fat, annoying. It's like it's just me projected onto the canvas.
I mean, me too, man. Me too.
I'm having fun. That's all that matters. He looks warm, so I'm gonna keep it that way.
Hey, there's another thing that you could include in some of your sketches, or another like variation thing that you can include in some of your sketches. Different patterns on your character's clothing.
Yes.
That's a great one.
Oh yeah, I need to do that.
Yeah. In fact, I think that I'm gonna do a page of patterns.
And like this is probably more for rendering, but also the text, because like depending on what their financial situation is, they might have more or less access to certain materials.
Oh yeah.
Because like this is a rough and tumble country boy,
Yeah.
so I'm thinking everything is wool that he either has himself. I really want to include a wolf pelt, because part of his backstory is just that he hates them so much. So I like, and I also like the idea of him just being all round and then just this nasty mangy wolf pelt on his back.
Mm-hmm. And if you don't have the time to do like a full texture study, great thing, and like something that's even done professionally a lot, is just pull up like search Google for like the best example of the specific texture you want some of the clothing, or you want the weapon, or whatever it is that you want it to be, and just stick it in your reference. Like just grab a square swatch of it, stick it right in your reference, make it big, and then do a bunch.
Just take
of them.
Just take it.
Yeah, you just take it, and then like it's not like you can photo bash that in unless you're gonna do like the thing they did in Chowder, where it's just flat texture on the characters.
I mean, you can always like, warp it.
Yeah, you can. It's never worked for me. I've always had an easier time just like sometimes putting it on a multiply layer and like putting it over really, really, really light. But most of the time, just grabbing the texture and then just doing photo study from it and painting it myself.
Yeah. I think what I usually do is I'll warp it to like fit as best as I can, then I'll paint over it.
Oh, that's a good one.
Callouts, especially for materials, are always a valid choice. They are in like every art book you will ever see.
Yes. Open up an art book, you'll find it. It'll be somewhere there.
Just look at art books. Like, they have great concept stuff. Like,
Okay, who saw Soul?
I did.
Were the materials not just like the most amazing looking that you've ever seen?
I don't think I paid attention. Oh wait, no,
that was
actually the materials, especially for the city, like just like the concrete and stuff, were awesome.
Yeah, or just like when he was in his apartment, I was just like, oh my god, these materials. I don't know how they do
My
it.
parents thought I was crazy. I was pointing at the walls, like, look at that! Look at the wall!
Yeah.
There's stucco on that wall.
It's so good. Also, like, the movie was really good, too.
I've heard mixed things about it. I'll probably end up watching it anyways, just because it looks nice.
I think
It was a Pixar movie.
I think the funniest thing is that you can as we've grown up, we've kind of watched the Pixar brain trust age in real time.
Uh-huh.
and now they're just thinking about death.
Yeah, just straight up.
That's just a vibe, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. They,
Oh shit, Nick's here. I didn't notice you came in.
Yeah, I've been in here. I've just been vibing. I finished my morning routine and I'm like, I just gonna sit here.
You're alive now. Hey Nick, did you
I'm
see the
alive
drawings
now.
of sticks I posted in chat?
Yes, I love her so much.
She's fab.
Oh, to be a clown.
Oh, to be a little
to be a clown that
Which,
vomits
by the
rats.
way, Lily, I just learned that Bells actually has like a plus 11 in intimidation and persuasion.
Good. I have a plus 13 now.
Yes!
Love her.
I'm gonna
Awful,
check
awful clowns.
Our
that.
awful little clowns.
Yeah, we are still recording.
Yep.
I totally forgot that I was recording.
Let the world hear about the clown.
That's a That's a dangerous game. Do not forget that you're recording.
Oh,
I'm
no.
always ashamed of myself, so it's fine. One thing I'm trying to decide on for the Shepherd's Crook is, so usually it's used as a tool for, sorry, this is, like, anytime I'm talking about this, it's just hyper-specific to my character I'm working on.
I mean, it's always like reminding people to think about these kinds of things.
Yeah. So I, like, for sure I want him to have a Shepherd's Crook, because I want him to use it as an arcane focus. Because wizards, like, they have a staff or a wand, and I want him to just use this childhood object he has. But I'm undecided on if I want to keep it usable as an actual shepherd's crook, which they use to just catch sheep, or if it's just magic purposes now. Because one thing I was kind of thinking of was having a gem in the middle of it just floating,
Oh, that's nice.
and then maybe like just like fog coming out of it.
You do some effects.
Mhm.
You know what would be great for that?
Hmm.
That brush that I just found?
I think I have color jitter on this. Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
mild on here.
It's subtle. I want to improve my effects work.
That's one of those things where you just gotta do it.
Yeah. Do studies of like fire or magic or... For a while I was thinking maybe I'd like get into Houdini, figure out how to render like basic ass effects and then composite them into my scenes. But after a little while of watching some tutorials, I'm like, it'd be better and easier if I just painted these.
Oh yeah. Like, yeah, just might as well just learn.
Yeah. You don't want to fall into that trap where you're like, oh, there's a trick to doing this, and if I get that trick down, then I can figure out how to do it really well. And then you spend, like, days of your life learning this thing, and then turns out it would have been better if you just done it the way you already knew how to do it.
Do that all the time.
Yeah. Like, there's been some times where I'm like, I should model this scene, and then I finish modeling it, and I'm like, it would have been way easier and faster if I had just painted that.
Hey, but now you know.
How's everyone doing? Any questions?
Do they want to see a character lineup for people who are in a party?
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say this is a good time to start really working on that. Owen and Jeff said that it was actually too early, which I did not expect. I personally don't think it's too early. I personally think that it's never too early to start doing your working on lineup stuff. But I think that definitely come this time, talk to your party, start drawing in streams or like in calls with your party members, and really figuring out how you want your characters to mesh together. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say about that. But again, I don't know if it's necessarily correct. I think that we've got a couple of parties that have gotten down to one member, and for them, I'd say just join solo. Yeah. Ooh, I like that. I like that magenta.
Yeah, I just remembered that Wolfsbane exists. I think the the history behind it is used to ward off werewolves or something. But I just remembered it, and I remember the color was pretty, so I wanted it.
Yeah, that's God, that's some good thinking.
That's what I
Some
get for being
good
really into wolves when I was
detail-oriented
young.
thought.
Haha, furry.
It's you. Got him.
And that, my friends, is why it's always a good idea to keep learning. And keep learning about things that aren't remotely related to art, because you never know.
Yeah, I really thought that you were gonna say that's why it's a good idea to be a furry.
And
Well,
why
that's
it's a good
basically
idea
the
to
same
be a
thing.
furry.
That's basically what he was saying. It's
Yeah.
like how in my anthropology class, I did really well on the skull quiz just because I know a lot of skulls by searching up reference.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I know that's a cat. That's what I got going for me in my life.
You're valid.
Yeah.
Trying to think what other things I can slap on here. As of right now, it's like, I should think about this boy more. Nope.
Guys, what Lily's doing right now is actually like a really great other thing to try sketching out and showing off. Is like try sketching some props, designing some of your characters' extra shit that's gonna go. It's gonna join them on the page. Do variations on that. Stacy will have something to say about it.
I wonder if I have my stuff from Stacy's class still on this computer.
Oh yeah.
Because we also did character design for her class.
I wonder if I've got mine.
Her class was... I learned. I was gonna say fun, but... Well, it's... As an artist, I know what I like doing, and that is 3D art. So,
I'm going to briefly turn off display capture so I can search my files for...
I just threw this over onto the other screen because I will not let anyone look at my files.
Yeah. I am currently a single monitor peasant at the moment.
Haha, dork.
Yeah, that's right. Gone is my triple monitor setup.
I'm such a cool guy that I not only have 2 monitors, I have 2 separate computers on at the same time.
Yeah, you were the coolest dude.
Just on Twitter on like your DS.
Wait, I
Okay,
thought you
me?
couldn't go on Twitter on the DS anymore.
Oh yeah, they removed that. They revoked
Oh yeah.
that.
Yeah.
When you could.
You have as much access to Twitter on your DS as Donald Trump has on anything.
Oh, it was Bia's birthday when that happened, so that was her gift.
Oh, the best birthday present ever. Thank you, Jack. Thank you,
Oh.
Mr. Twitter.
Mr. Twitter himself. I can show some of my stuff. There was only, well, 2 characters I was happy with, but
What semester was that? Was that?
This was last fall, most recent.
Yeah, but like, what numbered semester is that? Was that semester 6?
Keep track of these things.
I number my semesters in my
don't even know what
backup
year it is.
files. Oh, I have semester 6. I only have Dave Yee's semester.
So this was one of the characters I did for the Time Traveler by...
Here, let me turn display capture back on. There we go.
Yeah. Yes. So, yeah, I started with the silhouette, so this would have been first pass.
Good stuff.
And then all these sketches were me trying to figure out this character. And then Stacy made me get rid of the tail because she hates me. She's a furry phobe.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But yeah, it was stuff just me figuring out the character. And I don't think I have my notes written down for her. But basically she's just an absolute buffoon. She's basically a toddler. And so she's just showing the time traveler all these flowers and just cute things. Just
What
being
did
a
you
baby.
do for your guys' class? What book?
The Time Machine.
I have never heard of that.
By H.G. Wells.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
about a time traveler.
the H.G. Wells story. She had them design time machines, which was
That's sick.
pretty cool.
Oh. We designed 3 characters, time machine, and then the environment. Yeah. And then expressions.
Nice,
That was just figuring her out. And then here was the final render. Which
Oh
was-
my god. Sorry, I just noticed. I just looked up the book and it's only 84 pages.
It's very short, and it's also on Libby, so you could rent
Fuck you
it.
guys.
I'm sorry!
You had to read the whole book, Thief. I can't read.
Okay, you had to read.
Yeah. Hey, we got
And the
to do for our Stacy class. We got to do Eisenheim.
Ugh. Eisenheim.
Eisenheim was like what 20 pages.
The book Thief is 584 pages.
Gross.
You didn't
can't
read it
read.
in high school?
No, I can't read.
No.
I've never read in my life.
They made me read it in high school. It was good.
I read the Bible in high school.
What the?
Gross.
Why?
Disgusting.
This is the other character design I liked. So it was basically... So Weena, the other character I had, basically in the future, humans split off into monsters and then just, like, babies, basically. So monster design was more fun because it's closer to an animal for me.
Oh, you got
Oh,
the
yeah.
skulls going on there.
Silhouettes. So that would have been first pass, and all of this was second. And I feel like I narrowed down a bit too fast on this, but ultimately I was happy with it. And then the render, because they eat meat.
So jealous of you guys.
Really nice.
Thank
Good shit.
you.
Love to draw monsters.
That is definitely a danger. Narrowing down too fast.
Yeah.
I am very
And, like-
guilty of it.
Yeah. And that's why Stacy's crits are very...
Yeah,
like,
Stacy will call you out on that.
yeah. First semester I had her, it was a little scary, but I improved so fast in her class. And the stuff I've learned from her in terms of working on ideations and everything, it's helped me even in like my personal art. So I'm really thankful for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Stacy's class is the first semester that I felt like my art actually like really got somewhere. Like it's the first semester where I felt like I was actually moving towards professional level. I didn't just feel like I was floundering around.
I need to check with my other teammates to make sure that my style's gonna fit with theirs.
Make their styles fit with yours.
Who's in your team? You got Jin, you got
Jasper.
Jasper.
And then Lynn, or Turtle. One of Jen's friends.
Okay.
I just need to poke him sometime.
It's gonna
Wait,
be such
Avery,
a good.
but-
It's gonna be such a good lineup.
I'm excited. Avery, go grab Jasper. Just
Why?
for fun. for funsies.
I don't want to get up.
I'm gonna eat your bird.
Jasper. I tried.
To eat your bird?
No, I tried
Oh,
to
to get
Jasper.
Jasper?
Huh?
I always try to eat my bird.
Yeah, well, is she the kind of bird to just, like, shove herself into your mouth?
Mm-hmm.
She has a few times.
She's
She tries to bite my
bite-sized.
teeth.
Do it to her. Show her boss.
Don't.
Bite-sized little bird. Oh my god. When I was moving last week, we were carrying the mini fridge out down to the carport so we could, like, defrost it. And sitting on one of the walls, like one of the retaining walls, is straight up just a hawk just going to town on a pigeon.
just having fun.
Yeah, like he had one talon just on what was left of the bird, and would just dip down and just tear a piece off.
You.
Going for it.
Yeah.
I remember one time that happened in middle school.
I'm like, this is some cool shit. This is metal right here.
A bit ago, I saw a raven go into town on a squirrel.
Oh my goodness.
Birds, they just do.
Yeah.
All Squeegee Bird do is eat millet and scream.
And your food. She
It's
does also
millet
take
and
your
scream.
Yeah.
food.
She only eats my food if it's bad for her.
Yeah. Sometimes when I had my rats, sometimes I would, like, take my meds in the morning, and they would think it's treats. So they
Oh
would,
my
like,
god,
in front of
Squeegee's
the
done that
cage.
before too.
Animals are so stupid.
The other day, she tried to eat an Advil.
No.
Maybe she had headache. Leave her alone.
She's the one giving me a headache.
I'll give you a headache.
You already do.
Love you too.
All right, I should
I
have
think we
some
dropped-
dinner.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna depart real soon, and so I'm gonna take my recording with me.
Yeah.
Any
I don't
last
have much else to offer here.
any last questions? Curios?
What?
Is that what you're eating for dinner?
Yes. I'm eating.
Enjoy your dinner.
I'm eating the concept of curiosity for dinner.
Oh shit. Oh.
It's gonna taste
Curious?
mysterious.
Go eat, dork.
Okay.
I also need to eat. I don't think I've eaten a meal today.
Please eat.
I ate ice cream. That counts as a meal.
That's not
I'm
a
gonna
meal.
run you over.
I'm pretty sure that's like slightly less than a meal.
Eat like,
cream's a
I don't
meal.
know, rice or something.
I think ice cream's more nutritious than rice.
Honestly, yeah.
Your dog
Ice
in
cream's
the
got
microwave.
eggs and milk in it.
I will toss someone.
Avery, is this gonna make you fart?
What?
Isn't the ice cream gonna kill you?
No, because I take my lactate like a good little boy.
I do.
I will
Shut up.
cry.
No one that's lactose intolerant is smart, okay? That's just a law.
I did start to eat the ice cream without the lactate because I forgot to bring my lactate with me.
Okay, dummy.
But then I continued eating it with the lactate because I'm smart and I know how to not hurt my body.
Good decisions all around.
I can kick you from the server.
Only the best decisions.
Kick me in real life.
You think I won't?
Coward.
You're not allowed. We
I
have a
am
pandemic.
I'm
Really
the
can kick
dungeon
me with a
master.
mask on from 6 feet away.
6 foot
Yeah.
kick
Gonna
Throw
flush
rocks
with
at
your
him.
6 foot
Just
legs.
throw rocks at him.
Yeah, I could. I'm about to start throwing rocks.
Yeah.
It's a safe way to quote unquote kick someone from a distance.
If you throw a shoe. Life hack.
Yeah, that's
Life
basically
hacks.
it. That's all you
Pick
needed
anyone
to
during
do.
the pandemic.
Just
Throw
take your
shit.
shoe up, toss it. Alright, goodbye everyone. I hope this was an informative tip stream. It will be uploaded to the YouTube channel at
I'll
some
probably
point.
stay here for. I'll stay here until people leave. Honestly.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
honestly,
willing
that's
to
what
just
that's what I
vibe
always
also.
do. I just like draw until I'm like, oh shit, no one's left. It's just me alone here. And